Couch co-op. Couch co-op. Couch co-op.
Hello, Couch Co-opers, Couch Potatoes, and Couch Codependents. This is a special Couch Co-op show, a Mass-terpiece theater episode, if you will. Dave is back with me. What's up, Dave?
Woo! Hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good, and we are back with our Mass Effect journey. We talked about Mass Effect 1 a few months back now, and we're back. We beat, and we're back to talk about...
It's only took us a month and a bit, doesn't it?
Only took us a month to talk about Mass Effect 2. In my opinion, arguably also a masterpiece, in my opinion. Like, probably one of the greatest games ever made. But we can debate that. I don't even know where to begin. I guess after we came off of the first Mass Effect, we were pretty strong. We felt pretty strongly about that game.
Yeah, we are both. I think the only drawback was the controls were a little clunky.
A little clunky, looks a little dated, maybe.
Yeah, just a little less refined, with it being the first in the series. And I think that's the first thing to say about Mass Effect 2 is they basically just refined everything. To the point of not perfection. I do miss the weapon upgrades from Mass Effect 1. That's kind of gone a little. So, the weapons are a little more generic, if you know what I mean. You can't tailor them as much as you could in the first one, and your armor and all the rest of it. But
it's like you add mods to them, but you don't really upgrade them.
Yeah, and I don't. But if you hadn't played the first one, I don't think you'd miss it either, if you know what I mean.
Right. I mean, this is the game when I initially played. Like, we talk about it in the first episode, but like I had never played the first Mass Effect because it was an exclusive, and so like I came into Mass Effect 2, so like I had that experience where like it just seemed like that's just what you did. So like I had no expectation. I just came into this game. The cool thing about this one, like we're playing on the Legendary Edition that we got, we get to carry our characters over. I imagine that's what you did. I don't think you started a new character, right? You carried.
Yeah, I carried my character over, female femshep.
Indeed, the only way to play.
There's that one level. I must admit, I didn't look it up, but I should have done. There's that one level where you're infiltrating the fancy office, and you're in the swishy black dress.
Right.
And I think for the rest of the game, I wore that in the spaceship.
But like, what does that do for the guy? If you're the guy, do you wear like a swishy suit?
Yeah, that was what I was gonna look.
Because I never
thought about it, but I was like, I wonder what the guy wears.
I hope he wears a swishy black dress.
I was gonna say little black hot pants, but
There you go. No, 100%. Like, carry my character over. So it's very fun to do this. Like, you carried all your decisions, your choices, kind of, the choices. Whatever choices I made in the first one, they don't really seem super present, except in certain story beats where, like, the space racist, she's dead, and so what's his name? He kind of shows up, but that's only where I felt my choice in the first game was carried over ultimately.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It didn't have as bigger effect as I swear I remember it having. And there was one character I couldn't recruit, and I can't remember who it was, or I didn't recruit, and because it was always like a shaded spot in the character arc. But I can't look. I looked at a list of characters before we recorded this, and I'm like, I remember having all of these guys, so I don't know who it would be.
Oh, what character could you not recruit?
I don't know. I'd have to look. Because it was shaded out.
But like, what side of?
Oh no, I remember it. it's not one I couldn't recruit. It's the Geth that didn't come till very late.
Oh, I see.
That's why I thought I couldn't recruit him,
No, I made
if
sure
you
I
know what I
got.
mean.
Yeah, I knew. I that's funny. So having played this game a lot back in the day, and then playing it this time, I just felt like, wow, I don't remember getting him so late in the game.
Yes, I know. I was the same way. I was like, I swear I've missed someone. Because
Like,
I'm like, there's one more spot, but I've done all the missions. There's
where
only
is this
story
guy?
missions left to
Right.
do. Yeah.
I feel
So
like it just happened right away, and I feel like in a lot of missions I kind of hung out with him for a while, and then this one I just felt like, was he really this late in the game? That I played him so late in the like, because I really like that Geth character. Actually, I think he's a really cool
yeah,
addition to the crew, and I was just like, shouldn't this happen already? Like what?
I, I liked you got all the DLC characters this time round as well.
Oh yeah, because we have the legendary edition, so we have
Yeah.
so you have these characters that are they're kind of funny too because like you don't really have real conversations with them like the rest of the you can kind of
Yeah.
engage in conversations, but these are kind of like light conversations that are kind of
Yeah, like Saeed, he's one of them, and he's just kind of a blank slate. You do one or two things, and then you keep going back to check on him, and there's not really much of a dialogue tree there. It's kind of wasted, to be quite honest.
but I feel like his okay, well this is going to play out later, but I feel like his mission, his like loyalty mission is the mission I fuck up because and it
Mhm.
so it keeps him against me or like it keeps like because I choose to save the people where he just wants to go kill the dude and I think that fucks up my entire run. I think not making him loyal fucks up my run somehow. I don't know.
Weird. Yeah, because I think I got his loyalty. Um,
I chose not
but
to be loyal to him because he just wanted to go kill his he wanted revenge and I said all these people are going to die. I can't let all these people die. So I played morally and he just anti-loyal to me the entire time.
yeah, which is weird because like I definitely played the Paragon like path more than the what do we call it? The other one.
Rebel or no,
Yeah,
renegade.
Renegade path. I definitely played that.
So instead of this playthrough, which I imagine both of us are struggling to remember because it's been a while, but do you remember what this game was like when you first played it? Do you remember the
Yeah, I
impact?
I just remember it being very polished. I really liked the collector's Prometheans. I think they did a good job of kind of um taking the story on like further and in an interesting direction. And then I really liked the what's Grunt's race again?
Oh, the
Um
Krogan.
the Krogan. I like the Krogan. I like that they really expanded on the Krogan stories because I think to me that was some of my favorite missions on this one were
Right.
the Genophage and the
And especially how like
like
with what's the Solarian's name? Morden? Like just
Morden.
that the
Yes,
internal conflict with those two guys and him being responsible for the
yeah, because Morden's just
genophage.
totally
Yeah.
amoral.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like the greater good. Doesn't matter what you do to people as long as it's in the cause of
Like the
like
drama that was in this crew of characters on the ship was way more intense than the other crew, you know, and like this, like I don't know, I just felt, um, I guess, yeah, I had never played Mass Effect. Jared recommended that I should try it now that since it was coming to PS3, and I loved it. I think I played through like two and a half, three times that first when I first got. Like I wanted, I
yeah.
fell in love with the game, and I had never. I don't think I had ever played an RPG like it, like ever, because I've never.
No, it's got so much story in it and so many like dialogue trees and options, and they actually feel like the consequential and they affect the story that you get as opposed to just being like, you end up in the same place, whatever happens.
And I don't feel like not playing the first one. I don't feel like not playing the first one hindered me. I just felt like I still met those characters, and those characters that
Yes.
everyone said that like but you're gonna miss out. But I still fell in love with a lot of those characters, even if they
Yeah,
weren't.
they all had pretty good story arcs, didn't they?
Mhm.
And like uh stuff going on.
Just
You
really
know what I
talented.
really
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
like about this game though? I really like that mining mechanic going around the
Oh,
planet.
right.
That was really fun way of like getting credits to upgrade stuff essentially. You go get the
I a
space.
100% agree with that. Like they never revisit it, and yet it's somehow one of the stupidest, simplest kind of fun gaming
It's
like
the kind of thing I could do
grinding
on a mobile
mechanics.
phone, like
Yeah,
grind, yeah, and just grind away and be like,
and I don't understand why they just like gave up on it. Like they way make it more just more convoluted in other games, but in the future games. And this one is just like, oh, you kind of do it, and it's like, and you kind of avoid like it tells you the planet is like kind of barren, and he's like, oh, I'll just
yeah,
avoid that one. But then it says it's rich, and it's like, oh, I'm fucking going in there, and you
oh,
just like
yeah,
fucking,
you're like,
brrr.
pew, pew, pew.
So like I'd play I think this
And
is
the
all in
ching when you get the
yeah,
probe.
but like in all the game in all my playthroughs, it's always like you kind of play the game and then it's time to go to bed. But before you go to bed, you kind of like spend like 15 minutes just
Yeah,
kind
you have a
of
10,
doing it,
15 minute
just kind
like,
of mining planets, and it's just like
yeah, you're like, I'm
eh,
in this solar system. Before I leave, I'll just
just
scarf all the
it's
planets.
funny how that's like rewarding, yet you're really not doing that much. It's just
I
kind of
know.
this like mindless. But I don't understand why they felt like it needed to be more. So in like future games, you had to do more to do that. And it's like, no, this is perfect. Don't fuck with this. This is pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's
It's odd how it's like kind of rewarding but stupid. I don't know why it is. I don't know. I'm
yeah.
sure we all have different methods too. I mean, I kind of scan the top third, then the middle, then the bottom. I
Oh,
kind of
I go up and
Oh, you
from
go up and
pole to
down?
pole
Oh,
and
you go up and
rotate.
down? Oh,
Yeah.
no, no. I that's funny. See, I knew we would have different methods. That's so funny.
Yeah, when I'm gonna pillage a planet,
Yeah,
we
it's so funny. No, I don't know. I think it was obviously it's a limitation of what they were able to do, and obviously in future games, oh, we can do so much more, so then they try and make it more
yep.
convoluted. But like sometimes limitations create the best like kind of gameplay sometimes.
Yeah. I liked how there was some levels as well where you had multiple options to complete the level. Like you could
Mhm.
run an errand for someone and get the security key from the head of security, or you could just go in there and go guns blazing and
Or you
walk
could just
through the
pay him off,
security.
or you could pay him off and call it
Yeah,
good.
you could pay them off, or it really depended on whether you wanted to be cheap, whether you wanted confrontation, or
I like that shit. I love that
various other
kind of stuff.
stuff.
I feel like
Yeah, I
that's the
know.
kind of stuff in video games that we don't get enough of these days. It's like, and I know RPGs are RPGs, but like just in general, I really like player choice and like,
Yeah. I also thought that this game was about the perfect length as well, because it was about 30 hours, I think, was all in with all the loyalty missions and all the rest of it. And you didn't feel like you had to do the loyalty missions, but you kind of want to, because, having played it before, it's not really a spoiler that if not everyone's loyal to you and you don't have all the upgrades, then people die and you won't get them in Mass Effect 3.
I actually kind of thought it was, having played this so many times, I actually kind of thought in the back of my head, it's like, oh, this is going to be a bit of a slog. Like, I'm going to have to play through this game again. I haven't played it in a while, but I kind of felt like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that was not the case. I feel like when I engaged with this game, it was like, oh my God, we're almost done with this? Like, what? I just think that's a tribute to just how well written and how like I don't have any like the issues we complained about in the first game where like the signposting in like the fucking Citadel is just
Yes.
garbage. Like it's way more streamlined in this. Everything there's some of that stuff in the what's the bar? There's some missions around the bar that are kind of stupidly
Yeah, that
signposted.
gets a
There's
little
some
confusing just because it's multiple level more than
levels,
anything.
but for
Yeah.
the most part they clean that up really well. And no, man, this game just flew by. I was just like, "Oh man, we're at the end?" And then the only thing that was like, oh, I don't have the Geth yet, so there must be a mission I have to do something to unlock. I made sure,
Yeah.
I kept making sure, like, don't go see the Elusive Man. Because anytime you go see the Elusive Man, it pushes the game forward, and then it fucks up any
Yes.
things you haven't done yet. So, like, just go play. But I played a lot of missions I never played, like the Firewalker shit with the vehicle. I didn't do
Yep.
any of that shit in any of my other playthroughs. And I
That's
was
the one
doing
where you drive along and there's
Yeah.
like Geth ships.
no,
Like,
yeah, kind of. It's the hover thing, and you hover to other levels, and you bounce around, and you scan areas, and I don't know.
oh yeah,
It's just like
yeah, I
completely
remember that.
stupid side quest bullshit. But like, I did a lot more of that. I didn't even know that existed until this playthrough. I never touched that in my other game playthroughs. I was like, what is this anyway? So yeah,
Yeah.
it flew by. It flew by, and like hanging out with all those characters, and then also romancing different characters this time
Yes.
was a trip. Was a trip.
To be quite honest, I think my favorite character, and I was really disappointed that you couldn't really romance her, was what's the name? Is it not Tilly? What's
Oh,
the lady?
Kasumi,
No, she's not a playable character. She's your helper. She's
the
that's
one to the right.
yeah, the one to
You
the
kind of romance her.
yeah. You kind of romance her, and it gets like into some little like
She comes
spicy
back to
chat.
your room. She says she'll feed your fish.
True, but
If you got that, if you went that far with her. But
I think I did.
she's very saucy. She's very like, oh, I love you
Yeah.
too. She's very willing to like. She wants to fuck aliens and then she wants to fuck you. I think. I mean, she's very like. She'll go either way. Yeah, I know.
Yep.
So because in my first in this journey that we're doing in Mass Effect 1, I romanced Liara. So then moving into this game, Liara is not really a part of your crew. So
Mhm.
like she's still I don't know, who did you romance in your
Gosh, now you asked me that, I can't remember.
Oh, okay. So I romanced Liara. And so then in this game, Liara's not really a part of your crew. She's the fucking shadow broker. Spoiler. And so when you go to the shadow broker missions and stuff, there is a moment where you kind of have this like
Yeah,
lovingly
little,
kind of moment, but like she's a sorry, so she doesn't really care about if you fuck around on her. So then it allows me to go romance some other characters. But like I didn't really hardcore romance. I mean, I tried. I did. I just, I flirted with the girl next to us on the ship, and Miranda, I want to fuck, but Miranda will only do hetero. She won't go the other direction. So like, you can't get Miranda,
yeah.
which is probably a good thing because my previous experience with Mirandas is not good.
Yeah, I thought you'd want to stay away from them, but I remember the first playthrough I did. I remember it was Jack was the one that I romanced,
Dude,
and that was my
I tried to do Jack.
ages ago.
Fucking Jack is an asshole, man. You cannot. I don't know what you got to do to
Yeah,
get
she's
her.
hard. She's hard. You have to do that loyalty mission. I came close on this one, but I ended up with Jacob. I don't know why. I just thought his like stuff was just so vanilla. It was kind of funny.
My original playthroughs in my old, I was in love with the Thane character. So like in my OG PlayStation 3 playthroughs, I romanced Thane, and I loved Thane. But then after, I mean, I don't want to get too far into what happened, but like what happens in Mass Effect 3 with Thane is kind of sad. So I chose not to romance Thane in Mass Effect 2. I mean, I talked to him and stuff, and we were friendly, and I got all his loyalty stuff.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I didn't really romance anybody. Like
I
I
tried
just
to get Morden, but that was really difficult.
Oh, really?
It just didn't seem to go. Yeah.
I just like I really wanted the Krogan, but like I don't think that's an option. I would be awesome if I could get with, because I think
Yeah, Grunt.
Grunt is I think
You'd make a man of him.
Grunt is an awesome character. Grunt is probably one of my favorite characters. Like everyone says Rex is cool from like the first Mass Effect, and I say fuck that. I think Grunt is 100% more interesting than Rex.
He's got a really interesting story, and like
Yeah,
his
he's
character development's pretty good because he starts off as kind of a child, and
a test tube baby, really. Like he doesn't
yeah,
know, he doesn't really belong, though
yeah,
he's really hard. He's like 100% Krogan, yet he doesn't belong to that race, really,
yeah,
because
but
he's
he's got none of the upbringing and none of
right.
the stuff. He's like his own thing.
And I just like, man, and
Yep.
I felt a really strong like MILF stepmom kind of porno thing could happen right there in a pervy way. Like that's like hey son,
Just the kind of thing you like in
just
games, is what
just
you're saying.
me and Aaron's space torture porn, but that was I guess Rec or Grunt is not a viable romance option, so
I thought he was, but maybe not.
I don't think he is. So I stuck with Liara, and so we'll see where that goes in the next one. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't. I just like I opted to like be. I tried to be hoary, but I did play a game in my first original. Like I played 2 games with Thane, and I did way back in the day. I did do a romance with Garrett. So I did fuck Garrett in the romance scene. So I have seen that sex scene back in the day, which is pretty funny.
I was gonna say that just seems wrong because
Oh,
I don't know what I don't know why, but
you know what
Gareth
felt you know what felt wrong?
Gareth reminds me of Jared for some reason.
Exactly. So like you know what's funny about that? Exactly. Jared, don't listen to this episode. But it did feel like I was fucking Jared in that like moment. It's like, oh, this is like Jared's character. I shouldn't. This is weird. Anyway,
Was he well endowed like Jared?
I remember the cutscene being he's kind of pokey because he's like because Garrett is kind of Garrus is kind of anyway. But it was fun. It was a funny It was a funny. I remember that cutscene. You can watch it on YouTube. I'm sure they have it up on YouTube. But it's pretty funny. It's pretty
There's
funny.
probably a
They probably have them
compilation
all.
video,
Yeah,
isn't there,
all of
of
them.
like all of the love scenes in it?
I also really tried to the Justicar, the other Asari. I was really trying to fuck her. Like I was really trying to, but she just wasn't really. But my understanding is you can fuck her, but not in this game. So like
Yeah.
because of the way you play with her in this game, it'll carry over, and then perhaps I can have sex with.
Yeah, I think that's where I get confused sometimes, is because like the characters carry over to Mass Effect 3, which I've played. So some of them you know, I managed to romance in Mass Effect 3.
Right.
Yeah. But which characters did you find yourself using the most as your teammates?
So this is a weird one. Man, I like a lot of I don't like.
I suppose which ones did you not like? Because they're all pretty.
They're all pretty good. I don't.
There's
I generally when I was doing like missions and fighting, I would generally use. I try to mix it up. So you know what's interesting though about this game too? Like you don't while you do carry over your save, you can choose your class.
yes.
So I think I forget what it was I picked last time. I think we picked similar, but I went Sentinel this time. So then I had the body shield, but then it wouldn't have let me use assault rifles until way later in the game, and I leveled up a thing. So like I was using mostly shotguns and hand pistols, and I had some powers. Whereas like
I was like soldier or whatever it is that just is
yeah,
basically just weapons, no real biotic type stuff.
yeah. So like I think I did that in the first game with soldier, and in this one I picked a different class, which was like kind of a hybrid class. And so that was kind of interesting. And so then I made sure that then I'd always have. I loved so as soon as I got Grunt. Grunt is one of my. I don't know. I'm usually I'm all about having like a female death squad. I don't know what it is about Grunt, but I love that character. So he was always with me. And
Yeah,
then,
he was one of my go-tos.
And then I would always pick whatever female, like if I felt like we needed. I'd have Miranda. If I wanted to stare at Miranda's ass, I'd stare at Miranda's ass. When the Justicar came, I got the Justicar because then she had like. But those are both biotic characters. They have strong biotics. So it's basically I would pick a strong warrior and a biotic. And I think it was.
I think the only ones I didn't really use were Zaid, Morinth, and Jacob, to be quite honest.
100%. I didn't use any of this, and
Those,
rarely,
or I might have used them in one mission, but the other and Morden, I didn't really use him too much either.
I don't
Or
think I think
Fane.
I think aside from his loyalty quest, I didn't use Morden at all. I didn't use
Yeah.
Zaid at all, except for
Katsumi and Tali, I didn't use that much unless
100%,
I had to use
100%.
them. It was definitely Garrus Grund.
I didn't use
Miranda, I used a little bit,
I
but
didn't
not.
use Garrus that much because
I
like
used Jack quite a bit.
oh really I didn't I used Jack a couple times, but generally it was if it was Grunt and then Miranda or the Justicar, which I'm forgetting her name.
Oh,
The
Samara.
Samara. So it was like
Yeah.
Samara, Miranda, and Grunt. So basically, really strong, tactical, and then really strong biotic is basically what I was using. But I love Grunt. I don't know why I love him so much. Like that's so off for me. Like that's so like against my style for the most part. But I just dig that character.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think he's just one of the best written. He has the most interest. Personally, I think he has probably the most interesting side quest, stroke storyline.
And he's
Like
like
I
a
feel like his
he's like
story could be
oh yeah.
a game on its own.
I do like Thane. I think Thane's a cool character, but he's just like he doesn't. At the end of the day, like he doesn't. When I'm going out on a mission, he doesn't bring a lot to the table for me. Like he's a sniper. He's gonna do fine, but
Yeah,
I need a wall and I need a biotic. I just feel like those
yeah,
characters are gonna help me, and then whatever. But yeah, Grunt, man, I don't know. He's like Wolverine or something. He's like this.
yeah.
He's like this like hard asshole character, but he's incredibly lovable for some reason. Like he's like a dog. Maybe he's a dog. Maybe that's it. He's like a
Yeah,
puppy dog.
I think the only thing I don't like about this game, I just never liked the start of the game where you die and then get resurrected. I don't
Oh,
know why.
really?
I
Really?
just never that just never and the elusive man is like I always thought that was kind of the weakest
Oh,
parts of the
interesting.
story for me.
That's interesting. Like I love that. I actually, when we first started this, that was like a point I wanted to talk about. Like, so I played the demo of this game, and that was
Hmm.
what that it was. It was kind of the
Yeah, it was that first mission where you
mission where you kind of blow up, and I always thought that was like incredibly cinematic. Like I always really kind of dug that, and I like the idea that like depending on the Paragon or the Renegade, like it would affect your face. Like if you became more Renegade, you'd look more kind of evil and cyborg, and then if you were Paragon, it would like your face would kind of heal up and be less.
yeah.
I don't know. But why did you not like it?
I don't know. I just there's something about the elusive man just didn't really grab me too much as a character. I get what they were trying to do, but it just wasn't.
Hmm.
It just he just never really jived with me that much, and I didn't like the fact he would just jerk the strings every so often, and it's just like, ugh.
But I think that's the point. Like I
I
never
know.
trusted him or liked him, but I think and in my opinion, was always the villain
Yeah,
of it. And I think that's what it is. Like, and then so my character was always against him. Like, no matter
yeah,
my
mine
choice,
was
I
too.
was always just like, I don't trust you. Fuck you. And then everyone would
Yeah,
be like, oh, you're working for the elusive. Well, I'm working with the elusive man, but I
yep.
don't, I don't trust him. And I feel like I think that's what's kind of great about it. I mean, like if it was just, I don't know, like I think that's what they're creating a situation where like we shouldn't like this character.
No, I suppose I don't know what it was. I just that character just didn't really that gel for me.
But if you
Like,
liked him, you would probably have played the game way different.
yeah, true.
I think that's the kind of
So
the
it's
beauty
kind of
of it.
weird like that. Yeah, I
I
wouldn't say it doesn't spoil the game or anything. I don't know why. I just didn't like the start where
no,
you die and
I
then come
gotcha.
back.
I
But
get you. I mean, I love that.
I
But
understand
I
what they're
respect.
doing, and it sets up the story. For some reason, I just
It is. I will say this. It is really weird because like for some like when I okay, so when I played Mass Effect 2 and this whole shit blew up and all that, that's how the game begins.
Yep.
In my opinion, I thought Mass Effect 1 ended with her dying. But that's not the case
Oh,
at
you
all.
thought it was the recap? Yeah,
I thought
basically.
that's kind of like, oh, she died, and that's how the game ended, and now this and that. And in my opinion, that would have made it so when playing Mass Effect 1 and you survive and it just kind of ends, and it's just like, I thought I died. I was like really let down, actually. I was kind of let down, like, oh, I thought I did the whole like Jesus Christ sacrifice, all that kind of
Yeah,
shit. And that's not the case. They like, what do we do with this character? Oh, let's kill her. And so like I could see why you would be upset. Like they just like formulated this like idea to like kill her, and then like that's the beginning of the game. It seems very not right. It seems so just left field. Like you're telling me
yeah,
that she fought these badass motherfuckers, but then randomly died on this ship. Like it's just, I get
yeah,
it, kind of. I can kind of get it. Just it was very weird to me. It was very jarring. I just like part of me, it makes the trilogy less effective, really, because it would have been cool if like at the end of Mass Effect she did save everything, but then did the ship kind of blew up and everything, and then the credits rolled. That would have been
yeah,
kind of a thing. You know,
yeah. The kind of like saved humanity, but
yeah,
sacrificed
and then
sacrificed the self.
and then it would have made sense that you're dying in the beginning of the game. It would have like been a better through line, a better, thematically it would have been, oh, she's dying, blah blah, and then like, but in this game, with the context of the first game, it's like, what was the point of that?
Yeah,
Just so the elusive man could have a fucking leash on her.
just to bring him in and give him some control over.
They do mention him in the first game though.
Ah, man, I don't
They
remember that.
do. There is some side quests where they talk about the elusive man. So that I guess I didn't really mention that, but it is there. There is this elusive man context in the first game. So like there is this like idea of this Cerebus thing,
Yeah, they're kind of building it up.
but I
Yeah,
didn't think it was ever gonna. I mean, I can't really say in retrospect because like I knew where Cerebus goes because I played the second game, but I bet they didn't really realize that that's what Cerebus was gonna be. I think they kind of like, oh, let's do this with this, and it's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But yeah, I can see where
yeah,
it seems kind of weird that they would do that, like, or um, I don't know,
yeah.
I don't
But
know.
yeah, I mean, I worked through all the missions. I did all the loyalty missions I could find. I think there's probably one or two side quests I missed. Like there's one where you had to get like so many batteries, and I didn't find all. I must have missed one battery or something. Some like really small quests like that. And I was like, nah, I don't really.
Right?
Because there's that colony, where the colony is gonna fail because it gets attacked by the Geth, is
Oh
it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I did that one.
And
I got that one.
yeah, and then I think the other thing was how memorable a lot of the game was, because I remembered a lot of the levels from the first time round, which was quite surprising, considering it was probably I don't know how many years since I played it the first time round. So
I feel like it was weird. Like some of it, I remember like the back of my hand, but like some of it's like I had
yeah,
never like some of the Shadow Broker stuff. You go in, you do the Shadow Broker stuff, and you leave. I didn't realize you could go to the Shadow Broker and then like and there's a back room and there's her friend and you can talk to them and buy shit and there's all these, and then you
yeah.
can rewatch videos. It's like, what is this area back here? How did I never come back here before?
I
Like
wonder
there's
if
this.
that was part of the Legendary Edition, or DLC that was included.
Well, that's the thing. Like so. Where is it here? So when you released for PS3, it included everything.
Ah, that
Because
makes
it
sense.
was released way later than because it was a timed exclusive on Xbox, and then when they released it on PS3, it just had everything on it. So it was like I had
Yes,
everything.
your copy came with everything, so
So like Zaid and Kasumi, for you maybe they weren't like they were DLC characters. For me, they were just always in the game. I
yeah,
have
they're
never
just
not
part of
had
it.
them in the game. So like I don't know what that's like to not have them in the game or like like then have them in the game, but like it just I feel like everything I just have like very clear memories of everything, and then certain things I was like, what is this? What? I don't remember doing this ever.
Yeah, and some of the little quests are kind of funny. What's the one where it's like she wants a boyfriend to propose to her or whatever? She's dating a Krogan, isn't she? Oh, what? It's where when you go to see the Shadow Broker, there's like someone having a meltdown. I'm trying to remember the relationship one, and it's that one. That I remember that one being kind of funny because it was an interspecies relationship.
I do not remember that
But
one, but
yeah,
what is the one mission, the one loyalty mission I always remember very clearly is mostly because when I played it on hardcore mode, I just couldn't finish it. Was the Garrus mission where you go to when you go to find him the first time, and you're sitting on this platform in a room, and they just kind of attack you, like you're being swarmed on every side,
yeah.
and it
Behind you, there's the guys coming across the bridge, and then there's like
there's just a bunch
people
of guys
coming up. Yeah,
everywhere, and like it was so hard for me. This is a long time ago. Maybe I could do it now, but I just remember it being that like a fucking brutal mission, and that whole Garrus talking. I don't know. I just remember that one very clearly because I was like, I can platinum this game, and then you have to play it on hardcore, and you're just like, fuck this game.
I don't think I'd want to play this game on hardcore. It was
It's
fine on
tough.
like
It's tough.
on medium or whatever the default
I just
is.
played normal, yeah, default
Yeah,
normal, yeah.
I don't because again, I think it would just get really difficult.
It does get very difficult, and like that's kind of what broke me. So like I played through it a bunch of times just for different things, and then I like Jared and I were talking, and it's like, you should get the platinum on it. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna do a fucking hardcore run. Yeah, fuck that, dude. Fuck that.
Oh man.
That's funny. So who did? So we were rolling up. You did all your whatever, all your loyalty missions. You didn't
Yep.
lose anybody. You didn't lose anybody in the final run.
I lost someone in the final,
Who'd you
and I'm not.
lose?
I lost Morden,
Oh, you lost Morden.
even though I'd upgraded him. I think there's certain bits where if you just choose the wrong people on that final mission, that you can lose them. Because obviously you upgrade the ship's shields and the
Right.
weapons, because there's 2 failure points there.
So how did you lose him? Where did you what point where did you lose him?
Oh, I'm
Do you
trying to
remember?
remember now. I think it was at the very end, like when you split up, and just as you're getting back to the ship, he doesn't make it.
Oh, interesting.
It
Interesting.
was like really, it was really quite surprising because it it wasn't like he was with me at the time. I think I chose him and someone else to go do one of the other bits of that final mission, because it's kind of like you choose your squad,
Right.
don't you? And then like at points throughout the mission, you re-choose your squad. You choose people to go and do stuff that you don't see,
Right.
kind of stuff.
So I
Who
really
did you
I
lose?
lost somebody big. So I thought I had it pretty locked down. And so when they're talking about the mission, like, oh, we need someone who's really good with technology and is small enough to go through pipes. And it's like, oh, well, Tally's good. She'll do it. She can go through there and do that shit. And like, yeah, okay. And so and I pick everyone else, and it's like, okay. And then we go through the mission, and Tally does her thing, comes down. We're like doing this
Yep.
stuff, and then we're trying to push the door shut, the gate shut, and they shoot her and kill her. And I'm
Oh
like,
man.
what? I'm like, I think it's on. I have it on stream. I'm like, and Jared is watching me play this, and I'm like, what the fuck? And she just died. I'm like, and I'm so pissed off, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna fucking re-roll this at a save. And then I had to like calm myself down and be like, no, we're playing this through this way. So it's gonna be interesting when I go into Mass Effect 3 without Tally. It's just fucking, but it's fucking crazy. It's like I had her loyalty mission. I had everyone's loyalty mission except Zaid's.
Yeah.
I should have fucking said, "Hey, fat fuck, you go through the fucking tunnel." Like I should have sent
I,
that motherfucker through. Like I picked her because she's the most capable, and like somehow it failed.
I think
Like
it's tough like that because like the reason I looked up why Morden died, and it was basically because he had a low defense. He was like the lowest defense person,
oh
and if you
really?
send him on the
Oh, that's
escort
weird.
mission, if you send him on the escort mission, then he dies. You have to keep him with you for like one of the portions of the mission
Oh, you know what?
because it.
That's interesting because I played a lot of time with Miranda and leveled her up and like did a lot of stuff with Miranda. So I sent Miranda back to do the escort mission.
Yeah, it's because I it was he was good up until the final boss, and then I didn't choose him as my team on the final boss. And then when you get back to the spaceship, you're like, "Is everyone okay?" And they're like, "No, Morden died."
Oh, that's
You're like,
crazy. No, we
"Oh
lost. We got.
man."
I got the cuts. Like you get the cutscenes. Like everyone's trying to close the door and everyone's trying to push it and everything. And then like one of the fucking dudes shoots and like it hits her. She falls and it's just like, dude, we did not just lose Tally. What? What the fuck? And I was just like, fuck this. But like, no,
Yeah,
this is how this game's going. So we're gonna move on to Mass Effect 3 without Tally.
yeah. I think it was the hold the line one or whatever while you're fighting the big bad boss kind of.
Oh, right, right. See, we hadn't even
But
gotten there yet. I lost her so early on. It was just so like,
yeah, I was feeling really good because I was like, okay, I'm at the final boss. I've chosen my team. No one's dying on this watch. And then like finish the boss battle, and it's like, oh, Morden died. And then part of me was like, oh well, it's only Morden. I'll take that for an
I
end.
love Morden. I mean, I
I
don't
do.
love
I
him.
like
I mean,
I like
I would have felt less shitty, but Tally I really like. Like
yeah.
Tally's an
She's
important fucking
a main
character.
character, but she's also a good character like to have on your squad.
Oh yeah,
That's
in
the
the
other thing.
first game, I had her a lot because she would hack into shit. Like the hacking changes. That's another thing we haven't really talked about. But like the
Yeah,
hacking in the first game is kind of like dependent on how well your characters do at it. In the second game,
yeah,
there's a lot of hacking mini games, which isn't there. It kind
yeah.
of makes her irrelevant in a sense because then you're
Yeah, it doesn't really matter who you have on your squad because the hacking mini games are like
up to
once you get the
you.
hang of them,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
and because we both played it on normal, the hacking mini games weren't very difficult.
Right, right, right. So, but I was still like, man, I'm so invested in that character, and the fact that she's fucking dead is just like, that's like fucking Search for Spock level bullshit, you know? That's like, like what? Like
Yeah,
I could have survived if some of these other fuckers died, but like that's crazy. So like, I really was like, Jared had to kind of
maybe she
talk.
comes back in number three.
Jared had to talk me down. I was like, dude, you played this. You're playing this to like do this whole thing. You can't
You
just
can't.
reboot a save and like make a different change. You need to see it through. And it's like, you're right. I need to see it through.
I know that was where I was at. I'm like, I'm gonna see it through, but by the same token, I was also like, oh well, it's only Morden. Of all the characters that could die, it's like I won't miss him that much in number three.
I also think it makes it more interesting. Like, you know, if I re-rolled it and just saved her, it's just like, oh,
Yeah,
you know. But this is like kind of makes it. There's more of a story going on, and I think like,
yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of like maybe I felt like I should play the story I'm given, not the story I want, if you know what I mean.
and that's the problem with being video games because we're like we have that ability to change it, but maybe we need to like accept, like like you know, kind of
Yeah,
accept life and
because
like
your story is diverged now from my story.
right,
Like,
100%. You know, it's very interesting. I find it very interesting, and like that's what makes it interesting, and just in general. And I think that's when
I think that's
you
what makes this game great as
right.
well. Is like there is no like one story for it. Everyone has their own like things that happen during the game, and
And I've done it before. I've done that thing where like a character died and like I re-rolled and like and then you're just trying to like
yeah,
play God and make it the way you want it. But
or get the
like
perfect score.
right, but like why not just play the game the way it's meant to be intended? Like, well, you know, it's hard to say how it's meant to be intended. You
Yeah,
obviously they wouldn't put that save state in there if you didn't want to do this game. If you didn't want to game the game, they put that in there for you to game the game. But if you wanted to like just be a truist and like do
So
it.
on the final decision, what did you do? Did you go Paragon or Renegade?
Oh, Paragon. I'm full
Yeah,
Paragon, and I have a little bit of Renegade. Like
yeah.
I'm a little
So
saucy, but I like yeah.
yeah, I give a little bit of spice to one or two of the characters, but generally I do the right thing.
I just I mean I'm not a space dick. Like why would I want to go around just fucking
You're
everybody?
not a
You know,
space
I'm
racist.
not a space racist. Yeah, I'm not like listen. I mean, I don't even know if I could do that. Like I don't even know if I
Yeah,
could sit down and play just asshole. Like I've always thought about like let's do a game where I just go around and just be an asshole to everybody. But like at the end of it, as like I
I
just
don't enjoy it. Yeah,
I don't enjoy it. I don't know if I could do it sustainably. I don't get I don't laugh off of that. I mean, part of me wants to do it, but like I can't bring myself to do it. I don't know what it is.
yeah,
It's like a morality play, you know?
yeah. It's like even though it's not real and all the rest of it, you still don't want to be that dick.
And I like the characters a lot that I don't want to let them down, which is a weird thing to say too because it's like yeah, I don't want to let I don't want to let I don't want to. If I were a captain, I wouldn't want to let my crew down, and that's kind of where it stands. It's like,
Yeah,
and I think
I
that's
mean,
yeah. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say I think that's the genius of the game is it's like there's so many good characters in the game, and they're all a little different. They don't feel cookie cutter, and that's why I think like
And they all push your buttons a little way, a little bit,
yeah,
and you're trying to figure out how to like massage it and get them all to kind of.
yeah, yeah. It's like
And I feel, and here's the other thing, like so this is a game from the 360 PS3 generation, and there hasn't really been a game to do that. Like another
yeah,
company that has not made a game that does this. Maybe The Witcher, kind of.
it's really well thought out. The whole like plot line and the way it all kind of you can go off in different directions, but it all kind of ties together and the bones, the plot, and there's not a lot of fluff in it, if you know
Oh,
what I mean.
100%.
There's like a lot of what you do is interesting. Yeah, you don't have to do all the loyalty missions, but the loyalty missions are actually
Important if you care about your
really
crew.
interesting. Yeah,
And if you care about your
like
crew,
in the
they're important.
stories of that, and they kind of not pad the world out, but they expand the world.
But that's what I'm saying is like we need games that kind of push us to make these decisions because we haven't had a game to really make these I guess
Yeah,
morally what I'm saying is like as we lose our moral compass in this world as we go off further and further, I feel like Mass Effect 2 kept a lot of us kind of morally sound for the most part. I'm sure there's some of those guys that love to like just be full renegade
oh yeah,
asshole
there's
dick.
always
There's always gonna be
yeah.
that, but I think most of the time, and I think I want games to challenge me like that to make those decisions, and that's what I really like about Mass Effect 2. Ultimately, I think that's what makes it a masterpiece. At the end of the day, it's like I know now looking at it now, it's like you can kind of when we play it now, you can kind of break it down. You can kind of see what
Yeah,
it's doing. But back then, when we were playing it, it's like, whoa, this is different. This is like, what
yeah,
the fuck's
this is
going on?
new.
And like, why has that not been pushed forward? This needs to be pushed forward. This is where video games need to go. This kind of choice and this kind of greater idea.
Yeah.
It's just sad that like what game I don't know. I just don't know what game is ever like really I don't even think Mass Effect 3 really pushes it. Mass Effect 3 kind of closes the trilogy, but it doesn't really push that idea of the game, you know?
So here's one for you. I don't think I've actually played Mass Effect 3.
Well, that'll be interesting to see you play it then.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I think it came out when my kid was like 2 years old, and you guys all got it on PlayStation, and for some reason I think what with daycare and money and
Well,
all
I'm
the rest of
excited
it, I
then
just
for
never got to pay it.
I'm
I
really
never
actually
got to play
excited
it.
then for our playthrough of it and then to chat about it to just see what you think of
Yeah, see how it ties up the story.
I really like it. it's a very controversial game.
Yeah. So far, I like two is it, all killer, no filler, as they say. If you know what I mean.
Right.
There's very little in the game that feels like it was just put in to pad the game out.
I feel like the DLC is basically the filler or the pad
Yeah.
out. Like they didn't really like so like I feel like
I'd have been disappointed if I'd have bought that DLC out because I don't think I don't think Zaid does much really.
and Kasumi is none of those
Yeah.
they're okay, and I think those missions where you're with the vehicle, the Firewalker, I think that's I could be wrong, but I think the Firewalker stuff is maybe not. I thought the anyway, um yeah, I feel like the game is just fucking like side quests are not necessary, but
You
hey,
actually want to do them and you
because
want
you
to do
want to
them
save
all.
you want to be loyal to your friends.
But the other thing about the game as well though is
Because you can
it's very
surprise,
clear as well as to what missions you can do commit.
but you could probably speed run. You could probably get through this game really quick. Really,
Yeah.
like ultimately, you could do some shit, see elusive man, see some shit, elusive man, let
Yeah.
everyone die. You make it through, kill the bad guy. You could probably get through this game fairly
I think there's
quick.
even an ending where everyone dies.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
not
there
sure.
is. I think there
Like,
probably
or
is.
where you die, like, and then it's like, oh, well, there's Mass Effect 3 ruined. I don't know what they do there. Does the elusive man bring you back for a
I have
round
no
two?
idea. I've never, but
Yeah, I believe there's an ending where, like, basically what you're saying, you speed run through it, don't get any of the upgrades, and everyone dies. So,
yeah, but it's kind of remarkable that that kind of choice was given to us in a game from this era, back then, I think.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely one of those games that pushed things forward. And it's just well written, the dialogue's well acted, and
Everyone, all the
the
characters really,
characters you
yeah.
care about, and it's just solid all around.
I mean, if you're listening to this and you've never played this game, I don't know. Like you should be able to get this game pretty cheap. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
blockbuster. I mean, it's sold a shit ton. So like, it's not like it's an expensive game to get. We got the trilogy Legendary Edition remastered version on PlayStation for free as a PS Plus thing.
Yeah,
I
and if you
mean,
missed that, I think I looked at disc copies and they were like $15 or something. So
it's
it's not a very expensive game, and on trilogy actually, but
and it's a game you'll want to play through again. I mean, like I mean, Dave's played now like twice, obviously. I don't know if
yep.
you ever played it. If you only played it 2 times.
I might have played it third time, but I don't remember way back when.
Yeah, I played this game multiple times, and even now, I'm like man, like I almost some, honestly, Dave. Part of me wishes there were more shit to do in it. Like I kind of liked just being
I
in
know
the
what
world.
I know what you mean. Although I do kind of like just the length of it. I thought it was
Right, right.
great. It was like,
But if you were younger, you could like be like, man, I could do some more in this game.
oh yeah, yeah. You could just keep going, couldn't you?
There's something cool about being a captain of a starship, and then I don't
Yeah,
know, like
and the shooting mechanics in this one are pretty decent. They're like,
a little stronger than they were in the
yeah,
first, a little
they're pretty
tighter.
satisfying,
It's
and
good enough. I mean, it was really
yeah.
good early. It was really good back then. Now you look at it and it's a little.
Gosh, could you imagine this story of this game with like Destiny shooting
Oh
mechanics?
right,
That would be off the charts, you
off
know.
the charts. Like yeah, if they could tighten it up, I just feel
Yeah.
like well, you never played Mass
Well, actually, we
Effect,
can't complain because it's like it is a
and you haven't
12,
played an
12, 13-year
Andromeda,
old game.
have you? You haven't played
No, I haven't
Andromeda.
played that one.
The,
So,
the the shooting mechanics in that are pretty solid. The problem with that game is there's just too much of it. It's like it's a solid game. It's just too much of a game.
they went the open world route where you've got too much. There's
They
just
want
loads of stuff to do.
they want the open universe route. Dave. Like
Yeah,
you're, it's like you land on a world and you can travel the entire world, and then you can go to. It's like a Mass Effect No Man's Sky. Basically, it's just like
yeah. I
it's
think that's
too
why I'm not
much.
interested in Starfield. Actually, like it's the
Oh,
same. That looks similar to me, if you know what I mean.
I get what you're saying,
Just too much, too
but
unfocused and too much. And
when you have
I see
Ian's
why people
world
like
of
those
big
games,
titties,
but
you'd be like, oh, I see why you want to
there's
come.
something to see around every corner.
Big titties around every corner. Yeah. No, I have that fear for Starfield too. Like, why do I need all this? But
Yeah,
maybe it's just like you don't need any of it. The story maybe is still contained. Maybe the story is still just contained in 20 hours. We'll see.
yeah. I
I
think
mean,
that's just
Skyrim's like a really easy game to beat. You can beat that game like in like 10 hours or less. I don't know. But like there's just so much more going on in it, and I'm
I get
hoping
you.
that's what Starfield is.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, I'd definitely say that this is a modern classic and it deserved a remaster. If nothing else, just so more people could play it,
Yeah, 100%.
you know. And I feel like 10 years is a good space of time between the original and the remaster, you know.
I just sometimes I'm in awe. Like it's one of the games I've played the most. Like I don't really play replay games a lot, and this is one of those games. And there's a reason because it
Yeah,
and you know what? Surprisingly, it holds up incredibly well, actually.
yeah. The
And
writing is just so strong on most of the characters and the missions and the story.
the gameplay is just good enough that it's still it's above average. It's not like excellent,
Yeah,
but it's just good enough to
it hasn't aged badly.
right.
I know, like some games have.
Yeah. No. So,
So
well, I guess you and I have to at some point we have to put in Mass Effect 3. We have a whole what is it? We're in
yeah,
August right now, so we have some time. So we don't have to
yeah.
rush it, but
Probably be September, and then I'm guessing it'll
October,
probably
November.
take a month or two for us to beat it. You know, just
But this
because.
is this is the whole idea. Like we'll play Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 in a year, and then that'll be the journey.
And then
So
we'll play Mass Effect Andromeda, and that'll take a
oh,
whole
we're gonna do
year.
it. No, I'm not. We're not. We're only doing the trilogy. We're not. You if you want to play Andromeda, dude. Andromeda was. I liked
Painful.
Andromeda at the end. The beginning was a slog.
It just wasn't a very tight game, is what you're
It
saying.
was hard for me to get into it.
Yeah,
Well, part of that had to
which
do
is
with
kind of sad because it's like
a
good
glitch.
universe.
A glitch where like I was playing and then I died and I lost everything.
Oh, that'll do it for you.
And I was just like, that wasn't supposed to happen. Like I'm not supposed to lose levels and weapons and arm. Like you're supposed to just kind
Yeah,
of It just like fucking glitched and it's just like, and I already spent like 8 hours in the game. And I was just like, I don't want to come back. I don't want to do this. So like it
yeah,
was years later. I put it away for like 2-3 years, and then I came back to it, beat it, really enjoyed it.
yeah. That's why I never beat Final Fantasy VII because someone stole my PlayStation and the memory card. It's like, and I was 20 hours into it. I was, a couple of discs in. I think,
Yeah.
or at least on the second disc, if not the third disc, and then it was like, I just don't want to play 20 hours of this again.
Right.
Plus, I
Well,
didn't have a PlayStation, obviously, to play
no,
it on.
there you go.
But
Cool. I mean,
yes,
by okay. So I don't know when this is gonna air, but would you consider Mass Effect 2 a masterpiece?
yes,
Yes. All right.
yeah. I think story it tells a well written, cohesive story with multiple ways of playing the game. The characters are all interesting. The side missions are memorable, and the only like bit that would give me any consideration is obviously the gameplay mechanics. The shooting mechanics are a little dated, but even then, I still think they're fun,
Yeah,
and I
it's not
can't.
like it's awful. Like it's
No,
totally what do you
they're
call
very
that?
playable. They're
Yeah,
very
playable.
playable. It's just different to like what they would do if they were making this game today, kind of thing. But I really like the biotics and the like, having your teammates help you out. That's just such a good mechanic, and I'm surprised you don't see more of that.
Right.
There's
Oh,
just something about the you choose three people with complementary skills, and then you can use the skills to do various things, and it just really works. And I don't see much like it even nowadays in the game space.
which is weird, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
must have been a one hell of a writing session just to come up with the storylines, for all the different.
Oh, I can only imagine. Like, it just
Yeah.
like, and you know what? It's probably chaotic and less chaotic than we think.
Yes.
it's like, oh no, I don't know. There's probably some shit that they were like, oh, there's probably some shit we're not talking about. They were like,
Yeah.
we're not sure this is gonna work, but we got this other shit handled, no problem. It's like,
Yeah.
it's probably some random shit like that.
Yeah, and I mean it could just be it's not as complicated as it seems, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Because sometimes that kind of stuff is, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Mass Effect 2, BioWare, like,
Yeah,
published
I
by.
feel like this is the game that gave that really cemented BioWare's like reputation at that particular point in time.
And then it was all downhill from there. I really
Yeah.
hope that, there's a new Mass Effect they're working on. And I really hope with what they learned from Andromeda that they can bring this franchise back to its former glory. But at the same
Yeah.
time, like, this is still
You
a
know,
game worth playing right now. Like, right now, this is still a solid game. And if you've never played it, you should really check it out.
yeah, it's there's no reason not to play it if you like any kind of like sci-fi story-driven game, RPG game, you should definitely check this one out because it's a very solid game.
Yeah. So I don't know when we're gonna start. I'm sure Dave will. Well, Dave's going on. He's going on a little trip across the pond. But I'm sure in a couple. Maybe next month Dave will start, or maybe whatever.
Yeah, I don't think I've got any games on the plate. Lost interest in Cyberpunk, so I'll
Yeah. So probably September, October. We'll start playing this, and then so you'll probably get our final trilogy review in November, December, which is perfect.
yep,
Perfect.
little early Christmas present.
Yeah. There you go.
And if you're listening and you want to play along, that
Yeah,
gives
you
you
should let
that
us
gives you
know.
2 months or so to beat it.
Yeah, write us a long ass write us a long ass email about how
Tell us,
much you love Mass Effect. You can go to
yeah,
thecouchcoopshow@gmail.com and tell us. I think this
tell us
was
how wrong we are.
I don't think we're wrong. I think we were pretty in depth. I think this was a great conversation. And it's already been over an hour, Dave. Like, we talked about, like,
Yeah.
part of me was like scared that we were gonna be like, can we pull this shit from our brains? And like, we
Oh,
filled
I
an
know.
hour, no problem.
Well, next time we'll beat it and record the podcast. Beat Mass Effect 3 and record the
Get,
podcast next week too, not like a
uh,
little while later.
so, yeah. First of all, before we get out of here, Dave, since I'm not going to see you tonight because we're recording the main show, have fun in England. Have fun.
Oh, will do.
Say hi to your fam and have a good time. Travel safe.
Yep.
Anyway, for Couch Co-op Special Masterpiece Edition, I'm Ian,
And I'm Dave.
and we'll check you later.
Yeah, catch you
Bye.
later.